When professionalism looks like intimacy and confuses everyone. Intro. Where professionalism meets the unexpected. In the world of entertainment, professionalism is often imagined as a clear line, a boundary that keeps personal feelings locked away behind rehearsed smiles, scripted lines, and carefully controlled interactions. But what happens when that boundary blurs? When professionalism doesn't look like cold formality but instead takes the shape of closeness, care, and intimacy? What happens when a pair of co-stars seem less like colleagues and more like something deeper? Something that confuses fans, the media, and even themselves. For Freen and Becky, this isn't just a hypothetical. It's their reality. A reality that has both captivated audiences and sparked endless debate. The onset of a unique connection. From the very first day they met on set, Freen and Becky's dynamic was different. There was an ease, a natural rhythm, that didn't come from rehearsing lines or hitting marks. Came from something deeper. Onlookers noticed it early on. Not the kind of friendship born out of shared downtime or mutual professional respect alone, but something more nuanced. A chemistry so subtle yet so powerful that it slipped past traditional categories. It was in the way Freen's hand would linger a moment longer than expected when helping Becky adjust her costume. It was in the quiet smiles exchanged during long shoots, in shared looks that spoke without words. At first, the production team simply chalked it up to strong chemistry, the kind that every director hopes for in co-stars. But fans started to notice something else. When intimacy is mistaken for something else. In a public setting, especially under the relentless glare of cameras and social media, moments of genuine intimacy can easily be misunderstood. For Freen and Becky, their professionalism meant being fully present with one another, supportive, attentive, protective. But to an outside observer, that often looked like something personal, even private. This led to confusion. Was their closeness a blur of friendship and romance? Was it simply a performance or real emotion? Fans and commentators debated fiercely, some applauding their authenticity, others questioning whether boundaries had been crossed. But the truth lay in the middle, a place where intimacy and professionalism are not mutually exclusive but deeply intertwined. The act of caring as professionalism. Behind the scenes, professionalism doesn't just mean punctuality or memorizing lines. It means caring for your co-star's well-being, physical and emotional, so the work can shine through. For Freen and Becky, this meant a Freen quietly offering Becky a bottle of water between takes. A Becky adjusting Freen's microphone with gentle hands. A quick word of encouragement whispered when the pressure mounted. These small acts of care are often invisible to the casual observer, but form the backbone of a healthy, successful partnership. To them, caring was part of the job, not a distraction from it. When the lines blur, confusion grows. As Freen and Becky's series grew in popularity, so did scrutiny. Viewers began reading into every gesture, every look, every moment of silence. To some, this was a beautiful depiction of trust and respect. To others, it was a sign of something unprofessional, or worse, something staged to attract attention. The media jumped in, interviews took on a new weight, and fan theories exploded online. And still, Freen and Becky maintained their focus, choosing authenticity over spectacle, connection over distance. How professional intimacy fuels creativity. What many critics overlooked was how this closeness enhanced their work. When actors truly trust and understand each other, the performances deepen. Scenes feel more real, emotions more raw. Freen and Becky's intimacy on set didn't detract from their professionalism. It elevated it. Directors and co-stars remarked on their ability to communicate silently, to anticipate each other's moves, to create magic without saying a word. This professional intimacy was the secret ingredient to their success, even if it confused those who expected a clear divide between work and personal life. Navigating public perception. The challenge for Freen and Becky wasn't just maintaining their connection but managing how it was perceived. In interviews, they answered questions about their dynamic with honesty but without oversharing. They let their work speak louder than rumors. Their actions speak louder than speculation. In a world that often demands labels and clarity, they embraced ambiguity, because their bond was unique, and sometimes unique relationships don't fit neatly into boxes. The lessons from their journey. Freen and Becky's story teaches us several important lessons. A professionalism doesn't mean emotional detachment. You can care deeply and still be professional. Intimacy is not a boundary to be feared but a connection to be respected. Public perception is shaped by expectations, but reality is often more complex. True partnerships, whether professional or personal, thrive on trust and authenticity. Their journey invites us to rethink what it means to be professional in creative fields, reminding us that sometimes the best work comes from the closest bonds. Conclusion. When intimacy and professionalism coexist, Freen and Becky continue to navigate a world that struggles to understand their connection. But for them, professionalism has never been about distance or detachment. It's about presence, support, and mutual respect, all wrapped in a closeness that sometimes looks like intimacy but is rooted in something even stronger. And that, perhaps, is the most confusing and beautiful thing of all. Because when professionalism looks like intimacy, the world has to learn a new language. And Freen and Becky are fluent.